Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to dive into China's smart cities, specifically looking at this core system they call Ashe, or city brain.
That's right.
And you've shared some really fascinating source material with us, giving a deep look, especially at Alibaba's version and its origins.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack what City Brain actually is, how it works on the ground based on that material you sent over, and, why it's become such a big deal in China. There's some surprising bits of history in there, too.
Okay, sounds great. Let's start with the basics then. What exactly is city brain, according to the sources?
Well, it's interesting. It's not really described as like one single product. Think of it more as a suite of applications, public-facing ones, that run on a big cloud platform.
Like Alibaba Cloud.
Exactly, like Alibaba Cloud in their case.
Oh.
And it's all designed to help cities tackle their own specific, often quite unique, urban headaches.
So it's more of an ecosystem, not just one piece of software.
Precisely. And while Alibaba kind of pioneered the concept, they call their version ET City Brain, ET for emerging technology. They're not the only ones now. You've got Baidu with their Baidu City Brain. Tencent has something called We City Future City. But yeah, the material we're looking at really focuses on Alibaba's setup.
Got it. So fundamentally, how does it function? What's the basic mechanism?
At its core, it's about data flow. It starts by collecting huge amounts of data from IoT sensors spread all over the city.
Cameras, traffic sensors, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Cameras, traffic loops, pollution monitors, you name it. All that data streams into the cloud platform for processing. Then, based on the analysis, the brain sends out commands. Instructions to city systems, maybe changing traffic light timings, dispatching resources, that kind of thing.
Right, I saw that analogy about the brain and nerves.
Yeah, it's actually quite a good one. The cloud platform is the brain. The sensors are the sensory nerves picking up information everywhere, and the commands going back out are like the motor nerves, telling parts of the city what to do to optimize things.
Okay, that makes it much clearer. Now, the material really highlights one major case study, Hangzhou and its terrible traffic problems back in the day.
Oh yeah, Hangzhou was famously congested, one of the worst in China for years.
Why was it so bad?
A lot of it was geography. The city's built around Westlake, right? And that naturally funnels traffic moving between the older part and the newer areas into these tight bottlenecks.
Ah, I
The
see.
descriptions are pretty stark. People called it a parking lot.
Yeah.
Getting around was incredibly tough. Before the subway opened in 2012, walking was sometimes faster.
Wow.
Yeah, and you had taxi drivers asking time or distance, like pay more for a longer, maybe faster route, or just sit in the jam. It was choking the city.
So how did City Brain tackle that nightmare?
They started smart, using what was already there,
Mm-hmm.
a vast network of traffic cameras.
Okay.
City Brain hooked into those, using AI image analysis to count vehicles in real time, understand flows. This data built a live, dynamic map of traffic across the whole city. But the key was networking the traffic signals.
Letting the system control them.
Exactly. Remotely, dynamically. Adjusting signal timings based on actual real-time conditions to smooth out the flow and cut down congestion.
And the results were pretty dramatic.
Hugely dramatic. According to Alibaba's own Gaud Maps Index, Hangzhou went from the second most congested city in China in 2014 down to 57th by 2019.
That's a massive improvement in just 5 years.
It really is.
There was also that interesting point from Wang Jian, one of the key figures, about the number of cars.
Yeah, that was quite insightful.
Huh.
He pointed out that even though Hangzhou has millions of registered cars, smooth traffic only needs about 100,000 on the road at once.
Only 100,000.
Yeah, over 200,000 you get jams. Around 300,000 it's paralysis. So the problem wasn't just needing more roads, it was managing the volume of cars trying to use the network at peak times, getting them through more efficiently.
And the system had different ways to deal with different kinds of congestion, right?
Absolutely. It wasn't a one-size-fits-all fix. The source mentions a few scenarios. The easiest is just unbalanced traffic, one direction at an intersection, is way more backed up.
So it just gives that side more green time.
Pretty much. Simple adjustment. Then there's accident-related congestion, which happens constantly, hundreds of times a day in Hangzhou, apparently. The system spots unusual slowdowns from the traffic data. Then cameras analyze the scene using machine learning. They claim 96% accuracy to classify it. Is it stalled car, minor crash, major incident?
And it sends alerts faster.
Yeah, faster than waiting for someone to call 110 or whatever.
Yeah.
It dispatches police, often motorbikes, for minor things to clear cars fast, or emergency services if it's serious.
That's where the green wave comes in for emergencies.
Precisely. For a major accident needing an ambulance or fire truck, City Brain figures out the best route and starts turning lights green ahead of the emergency vehicle.
Safer than just sirens.
That's the argument. It stops cars entering the intersection on red just as the emergency vehicle arrives, and it prevents the emergency vehicle getting blocked by cars already stopped at a red light who can't move over easily. Clears the path. Then there's the really tricky one. Capacity exceeding congestion, where the whole area is just overwhelmed, jammed in all directions.
Changing one light won't help there.
Right. The system has to look broader. It needs to adjust signals at neighboring intersections upstream to actually meter the flow, reduce the number of cars entering the already saturated area.
That sounds incredibly complex, especially, as you said, with Hangzhou's layout not being a simple grid.
It really is. Lots of T-junctions, weird intersections. The material says they use machine learning to optimize for overall average speed across the zone, and it involved a lot of trial and error to get it right.
But the initial trials were successful.
Yeah, very. Back in 2017, they tested it in really congested spots and also a newer development area. They saw significant drops in congestion time, like 15% on elevated roads, maybe 8.5% on surface street.
And speeds went up.
Considerably. In the newer area, average speeds jumped 18–20%, even more sometimes. So based on that, they rolled it out across most of Hangzhou pretty quickly by 2019. And this kind of real-time traffic signal control is now one of the most widely adopted city brain applications in other Chinese cities too, though getting all the signals networked takes time, obviously.
Right. So traffic was the big proving ground. What else can City Brain do, according to the source material?
It's built to be flexible. The examples given included Beijing using it for air pollution.
How does that work?
Tracking pollution sources in real time, figuring out where smog is coming from, and then issuing targeted regulations, maybe temporary traffic limits, telling certain factories to scale back, or even using wind pattern data to help predict dispersal.
Interesting. What else?
Shanghai was mentioned for water supply management, using flow sensors and machine learning to automatically adjust water volume and pressure in the pipes.
To save water.
Save water, yes, but also reduce stress on the pipes, which apparently cuts down on leaks and bursts. And then there was that parking application, pay after leaving.
That sounded really convenient.
Yeah, seems very popular. Cameras track cars going in and out of public lots, showing real-time availability on signs or apps. License plates get scanned automatically for entry and exit, and payment is handled electronically. It cuts out the whole circling for a spot routine.
Which also reduces congestion, I guess.
Exactly. Fewer cars cruising aimlessly means less traffic and potentially fewer minor accidents, too. Started in Hangzhou, expected to spread.
The material also brought up something called One Code Pass. What's the City Brain connection there?
Right. One Code Pass is this bigger idea to merge lots of different IDs and services into one single QR code for citizens.
Like your ID, driver's license, health card, all in one.
Yeah, that's the concept. Health insurance, maybe paying for the bus or subway too. A bit like Japan's My Number Card idea, but maybe broader. And the connection is that this push reportedly got a huge boost from the COVID-19 Health Code app.
Ah, the green, yellow, red code system.
Exactly. That app, which used location data to assign you a risk-level QR code that controlled your movement, was actually developed as a City Brain application. It happened really fast in Hangzhou in February 2020. Being able to deploy something so critical, so data-heavy, so quickly on the City Brain platform really showcased its power.
And accelerated the idea of combining health status and ID?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
It pushed forward that one code pass idea, integrating health info more tightly. And this highlights a really key point about the architecture, because all this data for different sensors goes into the one cloud platform.
The data can be reused.
Right. Data gathered for traffic like camera feeds could potentially be used for something else entirely, like tracking a specific vehicle if needed. The platform makes that kind of cross-application use much easier.
Okay, so City Brain really is framed as the foundation for China's whole smart city initiative.
That's definitely the positioning you described. It's the core system enabling this transformation. And the scale is massive. The source mentioned over 500 Chinese cities are either planning or already implementing smart city projects, using systems like City Brain from Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, or even their own custom builds.
And beneath Alibaba City Brain is Alibaba Cloud. Cloud, you mentioned that earlier.
Absolutely fundamental. You know, we often hear about AWS, Azure, GCP as the big three global cloud providers. AliCloud is frequently ranked fourth.
Even though its users are mostly Chinese companies.
Mostly, yeah. Which just tells you the sheer scale of China's domestic tech industry. And for Alibaba itself, while AliCloud is only about 8% of their revenue according to the source, It's described as utterly essential infrastructure. It's what lets their huge e-commerce platforms run.
Handling things like Singles Day.
Exactly. Those insane transaction volumes. The peak mentioned for 2020 was 583,000 transactions per second. Yeah, and the source points out that's way higher than the design capacity for digital yuan, which was around 300,000 TPS.
Yeah.
Alibaba just couldn't function at that scale without Ali Cloud. It's called their core technology.
And there's quite a backstory to Ali Cloud itself, isn't there? A dramatic origin story.
Oh yeah, it's quite something. It involves Wang Jian, who was actually a psychologist before becoming an engineer.
Really? Psychologist?
Yeah. He ended up as a VP at Microsoft Research Asia, described as a real incubator for AI talent. And then in 2008, he met Jack Ma, Alibaba's founder. And the story goes, Wang Jian basically told Ma to his face that if Alibaba didn't master technology, didn't build its own tech core, it would disappear pretty quickly.
That sounds blunt.
Extremely blunt.
Yeah.
People there were apparently shocked, thought Ma would be furious, but Ma, who apparently already felt Alibaba was weak technologically and was worried about it, he saw Wang Jian voicing his own deepest fears. He decided right then he had to hire him.
Despite Ma not being technical himself.
Right. Ma openly admitted he didn't understand the tech details, but he trusted Wang Jian completely and gave him unwavering support. The source really emphasizes how crucial Ma's backing was.
Because cloud computing was such a radical, unproven idea back then.
Totally, even globally. When Google started talking about it around 2006, rivals were dismissive, called it old tech repackaged. Amazon had started AWS, but it was initially more like renting out spare capacity. And in China, the skepticism was apparently even stronger. The source quotes Baidu's CEO calling it old wine in new bottles. Tencent's CEO supposedly said it might happen in 100 years. It just wasn't seen as viable yet by many leaders there.
So building Ali Cloud inside Alibaba must have been incredibly difficult.
Hugely difficult. Uncharted territory, lots of trial and error. The source mentions an 80% turnover rate on the early team because it was so frustrating.
Wow, 80%.
Yeah. And it was costing a fortune. By 2012, they'd spent something like 1 billion RMB, that's roughly 18 billion Japanese yen, without bringing in any revenue. It looked like a massive, potentially disastrous money pit. Things apparently came to a head in 2012 when Wang Jian was made CTO. There was huge internal criticism. People were angry the team wasn't making money. Some apparently called Wang Jian a swindler or a fraud.
That must have been intense.
Yeah. The source describes a specific employee meeting where Wang Jian, facing all this, actually broke down and cried.
Jeez, and that's when Jack Ma stepped in.
Decisively. He stood up, declared, "Technology is Alibaba's lifeline." Then he asked the employees, very quietly apparently, to trust Wang Jian, give him more time. And then he bowed deeply to them.
Bowed.
Yeah, deep bow. Something employees had apparently never seen him do before. It completely silenced the room. His faith in Wang Jian was absolute. And then later in 2012, they finally launched Ali Cloud successfully. Wang Jian and the team cried again, this time presumably from relief and joy.
What a story.
Yeah. When Wang Jian went to tell Ma, Ma was apparently just eating, laughed loudly, and got himself more food. Like, see? I knew you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
The takeaway from the source is that Ali Cloud wasn't just vital for Alibaba to handle its own growth, like those singles-day peaks, but it was arguably essential for the entire Chinese tech sector to scale up without collapsing under data overload. It provided a foundation many others ended up needing.
That's an incredible journey, from internal skepticism and near failure to becoming the backbone of systems like CityBrain. So wrapping things up, CityBrain, Alibaba's, or others is this really dynamic system. It's built on powerful cloud computing.
Like Ali Cloud.
Right. And it uses real-time data, streams of information from all over the city to try and manage and optimize urban life, starting with massive problems like traffic, but branching out into, well, seemingly everything.
Yeah, and that story of developing the underlying cloud platform, overcoming those huge technical and, frankly, human hurdles through strong leadership and perseverance, that's almost as significant as the smart city applications themselves. It had to exist first.
Absolutely. It really makes you think, though, as these city brains get smarter, collect more and more data about every aspect of how we move, how we interact in cities, all aiming for efficiency. What does that mean for us, for our daily experience, maybe our privacy, the character of the city itself?
That's the big question, isn't it? Definitely something to ponder.
Food for thought.